Time to grab the keys. Yeah, just grab the key, put it in the lock. That's all we're doing here. Oh, you lost your key. Are they in the kitchen on the hook? Did you find your keys? Oh, they're just right here. We don't have to look anywhere outside of ourselves to find the keys within our reach. We don't even have to reach. I'm just singing an Entheo song. The keys within our reach, and now we thrive, sharing everything we need because the keys are right here. And the door is opening to our higher potential, really just who we are. We don't have to be or do or try to be anything else. Do, just you are it. So, the gene keys. Here we are with this mandala. I like to think of it as a mandala, the code of life, this holographic looking glass into the nature of consciousness as it has been evolving throughout history. From shadows that from our vantage point now, we see them as shadows because they're no longer functioning for us in the ways and serving in the ways that they were in the past. But in moments of our history, the evolutionary impulse of that moment were some of these shadow frequencies. So part of what we're doing here is just letting go of all of the judgment around the shadows. We can just let that go. And when we meet reality without so much resistance, because obviously, we talk about the mass population on the planet as we witness it is operating in the densities of the shadow frequencies. And we have our qualms about that. We have our, if they could only stop, why is this happening? Who in their right mind would make those choices? If we can let go, I know it's a big task, but one thing one of my teachers is showing me is that our basic programming of just who we naturally are is love and compassion. So if I'm Buddhaing out, and that's really what we're doing here, we're coming into our Buddha nature, our Christ nature, our Merlin nature, our Shekinah nature. If I can see life in that the basic programming is love and compassion, and I write my relationship to the shadow, so much space opens up inside my being. So much opportunity, capacity, really, to reintegrate the pieces of me and navigate the programs that might come up and operate in codependence and victim and lack and all of these things that we're trying to get out of. That if I'm at peace with them, there's space. Now I can easily just enter into the gift because I'm relaxed around these things. Now, I say that, and it's the greatest challenge. It requires all of me to step up to that. And so I know that you are up for the challenge as well because you're here. So here we have this mandala of archetypal codes. And they are, we exist inside this mandala. Every spoke of the wheel is activated at all times. We are it. It's the totality of our being. And we have this fun game of, and really the mirror of the holographic nature of reality is that this cosmos, these planetary beings that are out in the sky, traveling and orbiting in these geometries, are telling a story and mirroring something that's naturally occurring inside of our beings. And so there's this beautiful synchronicity occurring there, where what is relevant to me in this moment happens to be mirrored and revealed in the movements and patterns of the cosmos, and vice versa. What is relevant to the movement of the greater whole and the macrocosm is reflected in an inner process that's happening here. So, I really want to look at the full moon today. We have the sun in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. And this full moon, more than ever, I'm really feeling the opposition effect and the fact that when we look at astrology through the lens of the gene keys, these are programming partners. And if you're into the gene keys and you have studied your activation sequence, you know that the four prime gifts, the foundations of our being that is so instrumental to our moment-to-moment navigation through life and our genius and how we express ourselves and ground ourselves into the present moment, that it's two sets of pairs of programming partners that work in biofeedback loop, the external and the outer, and the internal and the more body programming partners in pairs. So in this last retreat, in the previous Gene Key of the Day, I was at the retreat that we were about to begin. We had 30 people in person. It was so powerful, so deep. And in that retreat, we were really focusing on core stability. And core stability are these inner gifts where we have a opposition of keys. So you might have yours in this area of the chart or anywhere along the chart. Your core stability holds down a certain axis point of the mandala. And that's like where you inhabit a certain aspect of consciousness. And it's not just like just over here, it's an axis. It holds a ground. It creates a tether, almost a tension that allows for embodiment to occur. It allows for growth and all the things that happen inside of oppositions. So when I was feeling into this full moon, I was really sensing how, in a sense, every full moon is this opportunity in the cosmos and in our lives to stabilize core stability, to stabilize the gifts of this particular polarity. So let's look at what these gene keys are and go deeper into that. The sun right now is in the 45th gene key, and that moves from dominance at the shadow to the gift of synergy and the city of communion. And the moon and its programming partner is the 26th gene key, the sacred trickster, which at the shadow is pride, and at the gift is artfulness and the city of invisibility. So life and evolution is calling on the stabilizing of a higher frequency, of a higher capacity. That's just the evolutionary impulse. The shadows are no longer what's what's the thing right now. The evolutionary impulse is the gift state. So how are we being called to stabilize in artfulness and synergy in our lives? These two gene keys really bring to light the economic system. There's a way that we've been operating inside of a scarcity paradigm. And that really came up when I was looking into Richard's audio in the 64 ways of the 26 gene key. This has the dilemma of lack. This is poverty consciousness. So here, these archetypes are now relevant in our lives. How are they relevant? How is poverty consciousness relevant to you right now? Wow, well, I meet it every day. Where do we have belief systems that are based in a finite amount of resources that, even just on the level of love. There's only so much love. I have to go out there and get it, rather than I am an infinite abundant source of that love. That's really the program that overrides any sort of scarcity. And at artfulness, the beauty of artfulness is that it's very creative. It uses the cleverness that pride uses, and that use of will that really like tries to get. Let's go back to the shadow of lack. Pride as a form of lack is that there's a lot of what can I get? What can I get? Because I need to have my stockpile. I need to. Um, my ego needs more to feel secure and stable. So with artfulness, there's this, how can I use this cleverness and this ability to manipulate reality to serve the whole? So a great example of this in our collective is cryptocurrency. Here we're seeing the our relationship with money fully having an overhaul and having a creative explosion of opportunities where really it's an artful response to money. How can we have synergy in our money? How can we open up to trust with the blockchain technology to be able to trust and have integrity inside the system? This is coming online in our world right now. It's all over the place. So maybe that's one of the ways that it's collectively relevant for us. And that's just one example. The 45 from dominance to synergy is really another working of the masculine feminine, of how we can trust each other and stop having to fight and one up each other, and just come into a heterarchical, synergized relationship. So I really want to ask you, how is synergy relevant in your life right now? What are ways that you are actively engaging in artful acts of synergy, collaboration? I mean, I have been dreaming to do a certain kind of workshop around life as art. That's a big passion of mine. Our creative expression as a means for our personal self-transformation and collective reweaving of our collectivity. And I've been wanting to do this myself, but now I'm here with Wonderland, and I have people on the left and the right in a circle with me that all are synergizing around that subject. And we're going to be doing a play shop, a workshop in Bend, Oregon on the 24th of June. That is like, oh my God, talk about synergy. Me alone, that would be amazing. But like to have the gifts and skills and perspectives of a team, I am in total awe. So, what I want to just end with here, there's so many things that just popped in my head when I said that. What I want to end with is this, that, and that. Choosing in your daily life that allows you to be in contact with your essence, with the moment as it is, where then the essence can flow. So, core stability, I'm just going to land on this, is about meeting the moment as it is. Really, if things go awry, that's happening. How can I be with that? How can I meet that and own it as mine? And then choose to align myself to that which I know is real, which is me, which is essence, and the lineage of light that is eternal that we come from. Blessings to everybody. And go grab your keys. They're right here to unlock our higher nature. If you're curious about this one, because this is awesome, it's like this DNA total gene key. I'll link the Etsy account, Leela Star, for the pendant that you can buy. Many blessings. and gratitude for all of you doing your work. And also want to give much thanks for all my patrons. I am giving another fluffing up of my Patreon account. So anyone who wants to support me in continuing to do this work, it's so greatly received in grace and inspiration. So much love, many blessings. We'll talk to you soon.